Real Madrid start off with the 2026-2027 La Liga season with a win, an important win. And today we're going to go through my thoughts of the match and what I think of, everything that's going on in the summer, new signings, new manager, and with just everything involving with this game. And to start off, for me, I'm unhappy. Wasn't an amazing performance. I think there's obviously things you still need to work on. New players, new faces, new teams, new coach. Preseason they were quote unquote undefeated, but there's still a few games where it looked I'm still not convinced, and this game shown it. Both goals. I love to say I want to see Madrid win off open field play goals, meaning build up towards it, passing, whatever. Obviously there's gonna be goals from set pieces, from corners, from individual play, and that's fine. But I mainly want to see goals off of teamwork, off of on the field things. I'm trying to say here. So, a game where one goal was off a set piece, which is fine. I think Madrid has been really poor on set pieces for the past 2 years. So I obviously do want to see more set pieces and corners, goals being taken in. And then Espi's was, I don't say off luck. I think Espi brilliantly maneuvered the ball and scored it. It wasn't, I guess you want to say, a build up towards that. Sorry, just a notification. But before going on into everything, let's just check that I had the starting lineup here. Things are right here. All right. Starting lineup for Real Madrid. For me on paper, it looks great. This is a team where, you look at it and you can say that they can win every game La Liga this season and score 1 million goals, right? In goal, you have Thibaut Courtois, left back Carreras, who I was pretty impressed with. In preseason, for me, he was very good towards the first couple months of last season under Xabi. And then when Xabi left, there was obviously drama and Arbeloa, and he was eventually dropped for Fran Garcia and for Mendy. But towards the beginning, I was really happy with his performance in last season and in preseason now. So he got a start. Cucurella most likely probably going to start for Real Madrid, but there's that. Dean Huijsen having the new number. He's Madrid's new number 4. He had a decent preseason, finally, steps in. I don't say nothing crazy about these players. It's the first game of the season. You don't want to give them the flowers, especially when, you didn't look as strong. Espanyol at home is always going to be a tough game. Same with teams like Levante, teams like a Betis and a Rayo Vallecano. So it's always I guess you want to say unpredictable. Center back Konate, brand new signing with Dumfries at the right. This is where it gets a little iffy. You have Bernardo Silva, Fede Valverde, and Jude Bellingham. For me, 3 attacking midfielders. Bernardo Silva, out of the 3, I guess you can say more technical, maybe. I'm not saying these 3 midfielders are bad. I just don't think I don't think all 3 of them should play together at the same time. Out of the 3, as much as a big fan I am Fede, he's really such a versatile player. You need more, I think, a creative or the goal that they conceded was an error from Fede. He's not a DM. He's not a midfielder. He's not a defensive midfielder that's going to drop back and help on line with the defenders. That's the thing with Fede. So, I don't know if you want to put Ichouameni. I don't know if you want to, I've heard rumors or, people saying maybe try Dean Huijsen as a DM role. So it's things like that. I just don't think that these 3 should play together at the same time. I'd prefer to see Arda in the middle, and then use Diomande on the right. For me, he looked great. Really good on the ball, really fast, really pacey. He didn't play as much, but I can see this Madrid team play better if, respectfully, as much as Vini's a Madrid legend, he hasn't looked great at all this preseason and in this game. He has not. He was underperforming. He looked, for me, really bad. So what I'd like to see is Mbappe on the left, Espi up top, with Diomande on the right, Articular in the middle, drop Jude Bellingham in the back, and then fill in maybe, you need a defensive in there. That's just the type how Real Madrid is, a Chouameni. Rodri would have fit in great for me. But, I want to see Art in the middle, Jude as that controlling midfielder at the center, and then maybe have a Chouameni or Bernardo Silva. As much as I'm a big fan of Fede, he's our new captain. I just don't see it. I think at his best he plays at right back is his best position. That's what I've always said. I'm a huge fan of every time he plays on right back. And obviously you have Trent, you have Dumfries. It's gonna be hard. You have two amazing fullbacks playing there. But I'm just ever since last season, the season before that, I think he's looked great right back. But that is the starting 11 for there. A few swaps. Obviously, Vinny's not going to get dropped because he's a big star named player. And, I'd rather see Mbappe on the left, but I'm not the coach and I don't control the team. And the only way possible for that to happen was Vinny to leave this summer to Arsenal, which didn't happen. He's a legend, don't get me wrong. I've seen Vinny from a joke that everyone called out, never doubted him once, and then he became the best player in the world and should have won a Ballon d'Or. Him or Bellingham, I think, prefer. But yeah, it's a whole thing. But that's what I personally think for Madrid moving forward, that they would perform better. Madrid's first goal from Jude Bellingham pretty early on into the match. It's from a set piece. Articular puts it in the middle. Beautiful header from Jude Bellingham. Like I said before, Madrid for me has looked poor in set pieces. I know towards the end of the season last year they were scoring more off corners and set pieces, so that's something I want to see. But some matches they could have 10 corners and not score or not even have a single contact of the ball during those corners. I think obviously Madrid need help with set pieces, so I'm happy to see something like that. Espanyol draw 1-1. For me, it was a beautiful goal, just a mistake from Fede. And Mbappe, obviously he's a striker and he's not really that deep down. But you see Fede pointing at someone else to mark that man, even though that man is yours, and then he ended up scoring. That's something on you, and that is your fault. And then Espi with a last-minute goal, beautiful goal towards the end of the match. He's that number 9 Madrid needs. I was a huge fan of Gonzalo Garcia from the academy to his debut to playing last season, Club World Cup, and then being known as that underrated striker. He got sold. Espi comes in, and he's looked great. He scored 3-4 goals so far. One professional goal for today. He scored in preseason, so something you need. A nice little maneuver around the goalkeeper. Beautiful goal. Couldn't ask more from him. Great from Espi. Jose Mourinho says, I like Carlos Espi. I like him a lot. We live together at Valdebebas. I can never say that. It's their training ground. He is very funny. We have breakfast together every day. We're living there with Cucurella too. All players should know we need all of them, not 13 or 14. Jude Bellingham was man of the match of today. He looked great. I just think this Madrid team could do so much good if they play the way out or set up the team how I would like them. Articular, for me, you need to protect him at all costs. Last season, he was such a key impact. This season, he's 100% as well. He's a player that can be superstar. He's a player that's gonna be world class. He's that type of player. It's just there's so many people in this team, and it's hard to fit in. And that's where I think Madrid struggle a lot. There's that. And of course, Espi says, I saw the ball. I said, that's mine. I had to score it. I'm the happiest man in the world. Really happy for Carlos Espi. Jose Vini Jr. He's not the same. But what they are doing to him is way too much. We are in an era where we fight against bullying, but if it's Vinny, it's straightforward bullying from the crowd, from the opponents. This is all orchestrated from the start of the match. It's like that from the opponent to the other. This guy, Vinny, needs to have a huge emotional control. It is tough. I talked to him. I said, if you score, please watch how you celebrate because I want you to stay on the pitch. The need to say that to him, that is what is wrong. It shouldn't happen. That's why I say it. This is bullying. It's kind of weird how now you're defending him, but when you're playing Benfica, said what he said, and you said, oh, it's Vinny's fault by the way he celebrated. It's hypocritical, but he's not wrong what he said here also. it always start. He's always Vinny's probably forever for the rest of his career gonna get hate, gonna get booed, gonna even before the match, during the match, after the match. It's always he's gonna get forced hate. Um, Sadly, that's just how the cookie crumbles for Vinny. Courtois, Calavatarava should have been sent off earlier, either for the kick on Vinny or the foul on Carreras. He was on a yellow. Espanol tweeted out, saying referees and all that bullshit, but it's just same schemes like always. Marino, it's a win from the bench. I always say it will always say, I always say it and will always say it. It's frustrating. It's frustrated. Bench is good for nothing. A bench with a sense of teamwork, team spirit will help you win. And for me, I've always said it too. You need a team with a strong core bench, and I think that's why Real Madrid, like 2017, excelled well. You had Kovacic, you had Marcos Asensio, you had Morata, you had Lucas Vasquez. Maybe you don't want to say they're big name superstar players, but they're players that contributed a lot to Real Madrid, and that's something Madrid can need. Now you have Diamande, you have Brahim Diaz, you have Rodrigo, you have I don't know. It swaps in and out. You have Chouameni, Camavinga, just so many superstars in this team. So we'll see what happened that. And of course, I got it off. He was asked about Rodri, and he said if he chooses another club, it's his loss. Yeah, but that's pretty much it with Real Madrid's game today. Yeah, not the best, but it's the first game of the season, and I think Madrid will approve. Well, not prove, but improve with this game.